Hello my friends, how are you today? I'm Andreas from Motorfanatics and welcome to a new video. In this video we're gonna weld on the Skyline, talk about the welder and see if any new parts have come in. So let's go! Whee, I'm getting slightly dizzy! Yeah, very dizzy. And we start off where we stopped last week, and that's with the welder and the last missing part which has arrived, which is the gas valve with adapter kit, with double gauges, with normal valve and on off and flow control. And that now we're going there.
A few moments later.
Dang it, and on my excitement I forgot to record. So this is for MMA, not mixed martial arts. This is a spare one, because I'm only using one piece, one hose, not both of them. Those won't be needed either. The cover won't be needed either. The hammers as well, MMA. These tips, these gas covers for TIG welding probably will be used. I found out they even sent some earplugs and a lanyard, which is nice, I guess. And I put everything together. It took me a moment to get everything air or gas tight, which is in this case the same. I'm not saying this is air, this is argon and CO2. Yes, 82% argon plus 18% CO2. And now it's almost time for welding. I just need to clean up my welding space. Meh. So everything is now attached. We've got electricity, we've got gas. The welding table is comparatively tidy. Now let's hit the magic button, which should be over here. There it is. It's alive! But I shouldn't forget to attach the wire, which is still a job to do. So, off it is again. Taking out a 1230 wire cutter. Let's see, does it open up? It does. Nice. So here's the wire. Let's get rid. Always hold the spool. Never let it go. It's just like working with a 3D printer. Well, it more or less is a 3D printer, or it was already in. So let's give it a little bit of tension. This new welder has a special button for moving the wire forward, for forwarding the wire. So I only need to push the red button and everything crashes. And press the button. And now we wait. And wait a little bit more. Oh, I feel it. I was gonna say I feel it coming. That sounds terrible. Come on, shouldn't be that far anymore. Oh, and there it is. Ta-da! Cutting it to the desired length. And now we're going to weld. So the 0.6 millimeter wire is kind of the tiniest wire there probably is for regular welding. For my American friends, 0.6 millimeter means something roughly like the 40th piece of an inch. So it's pretty tiny. Nonetheless, I will start welding with big pieces of metal, just to see if I can perform some kind of beat, to see what is happening, to get a feel for the welder. Let's hope we now have ground. No, we don't. But why? I guess I found the problem. It's because of polarity. The plug hanging out here has to go in there, and I left it dangling because it helps for make in English make. Of course, in German welding, it helps changing the polarity, which is needed. So now we should ignite and have an arc. Look, I hope not that I'm igniting, but the welder should ignite and then it should work. Yes, it's something. So I cut myself 2 pieces of simple cast steel, which is 0.8 millimeters, which is basically what's in this car and in most modern cars as well, and sometimes even thinner. And first of all, I will try some dots without burning through the material, and then I will try to dot both pieces together. If you have the space, you can put a copper plate underneath to give the welding bead something to bounce off of and to concentrate the heat and to prevent blowing through the material. I have copper sheets here, but since I can't use them in there, for example, I will try without on the table too. Let's see what happens. So, nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. Yes. Here we have some sufficient ground. And now we probably burned through everything because I didn't change any settings. Oh, that looks like the wire got stuck, if you ask me. So the most important part will be, can I get the piece? Yes, it's not fused to the table. And I'm burning my hand. This side, good. This side, good too. So now the big question is, can we butt weld these little pieces of metal back together? I should clean the seams, I really should, and I probably will. Old school. And like I said, no copper plate for backing it. Let's see, guys. And already I blew a hole. Oh, let's see if I can save it. Oh, there we got it again, a little bit stuck wire. This will probably stop once everything gets worn in. Whew. got a stuck wire. Bear with me. Look over there. The wire is stuck, but I don't know how and why. So let's first of all untighten that one. Oh. That's not supposed to look like that. The question is, can we pull the wire with a little bit of force back in, back through, and straighten it out, or can't we? I just chopped off the tip, so we can't. God dang it, guys! But that's not the end of the world. So this stays put, and I can just pull this out. Guys, why you see me laughing like that? I've got an issue that's typical for 3D printing, and now it goes on with my new welder. Let me show you what I mean, guys. This is obviously the wire. Focus, focus. And this is the copper tip the wire goes through, the nozzle, so to speak. And until here the wire moves freely, and on here it got stuck. But why do I call this a 3D printing issue? Because there is a bevel on the inside. It's beveled, or it has a chamfer. I think there's a chamfer. And it got stuck on the corner of the chamfer. This happens often with 3D printing when the extruder pushes against the bevel like this. And of course he can't, because the bevel won't move, at least with this small force. But if we finagle it through ourselves, put this back on, takes a few twists, and now push the wire button, everything is dandy again. So back to welding, I guess. Last thing I did was weld these patches, these spots, and although they look comparatively bad to these without changing the settings and the metal moved, they went through. It works. It really does work. I will now cut it again and try carefully once again. So clamp this down and get the angle grinder. The first one is always to keep it in place. The first one is always the hardest. That's not nearly as good as the first one. Maybe a little bit more wire will solve the issue. And we already got warpage. Let's see, did it at least? Ah, it didn't even fully penetrate, because it was too short of a burst. So we give it a little bit more voltage and a little bit more amperage. Let's go to 20 amps. And I burnt a hole in it because I was probably too quick. Here the penetration obviously is there, but the hole also is. So let's go a little bit down with the voltage and the amperage again. Let's put the amperage back to 20 and the voltage a little bit down, and the wire speed was probably okay where it was the first time. Oh. That's why they say welding thin sheet metal is difficult, because you have a really small window. So you can see on this side we've got penetration. We've got a few spots where penetration is not perfect, but that's not... I should probably hold this way around. We've got a few spots where penetration is not perfect, but hey, that's all a matter of experience. Try, fail, try and try again. These ones over here are again just on metal to test, and you see penetration, blew a hole, or over penetration. Except that they look goddamn good. Well, that is something I can work with, and I will work with, and this probably will need a little bit more fine-tuning, but thanks to the internet there are probably a lot of welding pros and aficionados which will have the settings so perfectly dialed in that I can just copy them. Yeah, so much for the test. I'd say great success. And aside from trying to become a better welder, there's another thing I did today, and that is put on the first coat of bitumen undercarriage sealer. And there will be a second one, because the first one still is a little bit thin, and if a rock chip might hit it, it might leave a mark. If I put on a second one, the chances are halved with my backwater math. I've learned additional stuff since last time. This is not for the wire, this is for ignition. This supports the natural ignition, so if we have high amperage, high voltage and high amperage, we don't need much support in the ignition. If we have everything relatively low, we need more. I'm gonna try 35 amps, and the voltage just is for the wire burn, something between 15 and 18. I'm just gonna put it to 16. And since we have low amperage, we probably need a little bit more support for starting the arc. Yeah, and now let's try it. So the replacement piece, the patch is now fitting. Now I only need to find a way how to attach it. Let's hope it works. I should wear the proper glove. It is far better than the old one, but I'm not. You can see it's in there, it's hanging in there, and I'm gonna make it look good, but it's yeah, it needs more training. So after grinding, it only looks half as horrible. Remember, grinder and paint makes me the welder I ain't. We gotta cut out some cancer, even more. Come, take a look with me. There, focus, there is some rust on the inside, yes, but it's not so much that it should be that easy to bend. Yeah. Anyway, it's out now. This is, although my welding incompetence did its best to sabotage myself, it is structurally strong. There are still holes, but this does work. Far better than with the old welder, I gotta admit. Well, still gotta make a new part here. But yeah, that's something for next week. We're already running out of time. But before I do send you off, we should take a look what's inside this package. Is there even space? There's no space anymore on the tables. Like I said, we're gonna bring the WRX fuel tank back in. So I ordered these as a replacement because the old ones were a little bit wasted. These hold up the longitudinal arms of the rear axle. Can't find the right word right now. You know which I mean. And these are the two brackets that hold up the diff support of the rear axle. They were also attacked by rust. And there's a lot of clips, dozens of clips, and obviously these bolts. We should have at least 6 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Et voila. After this counting lessons with the count, let's go to the big box again. Let me put you down here so you can have a look with me without falling down. What's inside the box? Oh. After everybody mocked me for having LED rear taillights, I caved in and ordered some better taillights, rear lights, and I finally got the white ones. Almost the white ones, but fitting ones. The ones I wanted, and they are finally here from overseas, of course, with taxes and everything on top. Aren't these some beauties? They are E-stamp approved, so they are for Germany or for Europe to say. The only issue is the rear fog light needs to be on the left, and there's not a cutout if you look here. There's only a cutout on the right side. There's obviously a different wiring harness for left and right, but they are interchangeable. That's not a difficulty. Come on, I don't want to scratch them. They've been expensive and they are increasingly hard to get. Here's the other one. And here is a hole, as you might see. So the plan is to transfer the whole pattern and just cut it out on the other one. Shouldn't be a big deal. I gotta be careful and not use the Dremel because I don't want any residue and any particles to fall into the light because they're hard to get out. So I would probably just use a box cutter or a fine X-Acto knife and slowly trace the lines and slowly trace the lines. That's the work for somebody who killed their mother or either for a long, boring evening in front of the couch. But now you know, I got them. The internet can be assured, no more LED taillights. I got the good ones, okay? Well, this could have gone a lot better. Or worse. The new welder at least is top. My skills, unfortunately, not yet. I still hope you like this video. If you don't want to miss any future videos, hit the subscribe button. And anyway, press like, share, subscribe. And we see each other next week on this horrible piece of rust. Bye bye.